Welcome everyone, and hi to everyone that is watching this after the fact. We are really excited today to be partnering up with Owen over at Disruptive Strategies Group to go through how to craft a winning website. Without further ado, I'll kick us over to our hosts. Owen, give us an introduction.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sorcha, for having me on today. My name is Owen Ward. I'm the president and CEO of Disruptive Strategies Group. We are a full-service, nonpartisan digital marketing agency that focuses on helping you build and grow your community online. Just a real quick background on it is that, my history was in marketing. I was a marketing VP for a movie studio for many number of years, and entertainment was my career track until the economy crashed in 2008. And when I saw everybody losing their jobs and not having any jobs to go to and really having to start their own initiatives, be it businesses, nonprofits, or political organizations, that's when I asked myself if selling movies was what was what the world needed from me. And the answer was no. So that's when we started Disruptive Strategies Group. And actually, very soon thereafter, connected with NationBuilder just because the platform solved so many of the problems that we were having in terms of integrated marketing campaigns. And just to this day still does. So we're really pleased to be working with NationBuilder and have been around for just about 15 years now.
That's amazing. Thank you, Owen. I think most of you know me at this point, but for those of you who don't, I'm Sorcha, the VP of Marketing here at NationBuilder. Been around for about 8+ years at this point. But prior to coming to NationBuilder, I worked in politics and advocacy from presidential through to gubernatorial and kind of everything in between. And I'm really excited today to walk you through how to build out a winning website and communication strategy. So, excuse me, for those of you in the room that don't know what NationBuilder is an integrated platform that equips you to engage and run your campaign from start to finish. So we have our dynamic people database. That's where you're going to be able to store your voters, your volunteers, your donors, all in one central location. We have the hosted action-based websites, which is really what we're going to be focusing in today, and our powerful communication suite. We also have the fundraising and donor management capabilities, which the team will be talking about next week and how you can leverage that for your campaign, and our distributed leadership tools as it pertains to permissioning and ensuring that you have the right folks in your nation who are running the campaign with you. So just a little bit on our 2023 impact. I'm not going to kind of run through all of this, but I think some of the most important ones to point out for today are what we're seeing here with the email send and the text send. So we've got 2.3 billion emails sent in 2023 and 20 million plus texts. We are seeing that texting is continually growing across our customer base, as well as that email send. Email is not going away anytime soon, and it's a really important tool for you to be leveraging as you think about your campaign strategy overall. So specifically, what are we covering today? We're going to talk through what campaigns actually need, the website design that you can implement, key web pages that you would use within your NationBuilder instance, the power of NationBuilder kind of across the breadth of the platform, and then really specifically focusing on some core examples of how you can use NationBuilder and NationBuilder pages to create things like a plan of action. Then going into the communication suite, and last but definitely not least, talking with Owen about how him and his team can help you in your campaign. And throughout, if you have any questions, just pop it into the Q&A. I'll be monitoring the chat, and we'll make sure that we do have some time at the end for questions as well. Okay, without further ado, I'll kick it over to you, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sorcha. So, when we're talking to political campaigns or organizations, whether you're running or you've got a group that's doing advocacy, there's just, a few key things that we know that you're looking to do. So the first is that, the key thing is you want people to vote, right? You want to get people engaged and you want to get them out to vote. You also, to help you do that, and one of the things that NationBuilder is so great at is taking your existing supporters and activating them, giving them the tools to evangelize on your behalf. So it basically just puts a lot of extra energy on the supporters that you already have. Your email list is, Sorcha was just saying, email is not going anywhere, and it's so critical. Growing that email list is, when you grow the email list, that basically drives so many other things that you're doing. So getting people on the list is so key. And then turning those people into donors as well, whether it's first time or repeat donors. So like we're saying, activating existing donors to give again and then again. Most importantly, at the end of the day, getting everybody excited is great, but we need them to vote. So that's really the key things that any website needs to do for you. So basically, one of the things that is great about NationBuilder and what we like to say is that your website really can become and should become one of, if not your most valuable team member. A lot of people will put up a website and it's sort of like a brochure on the web, but really what you need is your website to be working for you, actively doing this. And NationBuilder is really great at doing this. So it works to attract, like we're saying here, new potential supporters and voters with SEO optimized content. So really, this is just about writing great blogs. You don't have to be a web developer or some great writer or anything like that. If you're making new blog content, search engines love that, and it's going to give you a lot of free exposure online through searches. So with onboarding new supporters, landing page signups, and drip email campaigns, we'll talk about the workflows that NationBuilder does in a bit. But basically, sometimes when you get a new supporter and you've got to like have a phone call with them and have a chat and have that same conversation over and over and over again. Here with a good website, you can have that conversation in a landing page and a multi-day drip email sequence anyway. So you get that same kind of relationship building without you actually having to be on the phone with every single one of those supporters, allowing you to scale your campaign. Taking and organizing online payments, getting paid and getting money in is the most critical thing. And you want as few obstacles between someone giving you that money and you receiving it. So using NationBuilder to take payments online and then automatically organize them with tracking codes and things on various different payment pages makes that really easy for you to do and for your reporting. Like we were saying about activating your existing base, when someone, when you say to someone, please spread the word, and that's sort of the end of the conversation, they probably don't do it because they don't, know what to do or whatnot. But it's really easy with NationBuilder to give just simple links that will automatically spread the message you want and make it easy for your supporters to spread that message. And then one of the key things is email lists. A lot of people, like people will come onto your list or leave your list, or you want to email particular targets, and you can spend hours and hours and hours trying to update and edit all of these email lists. NationBuilder has a lot of features, including automated filters that, say you want to email people that you haven't contacted in the last, couple weeks or something like that. Instead of having to update that list every single time, NationBuilder will do that for you. So every time you just have to pop in, write your email message and hit send, and it's going to exactly the right people all the time. So one of the, when we're talking about what you need to see on a political campaign website, and one of the key theme that I want to get across today is that it is much simpler than you might think. And there are just some key things to focus on. So really at the top, you want a big homepage banner image. And you want it with your face. Like a lot of campaigns will come in that they won't necessarily have any images or anything like that. Get your face. People respond to people and they're voting for you. So you want to get that up at the very top. Want to say easy to find sign up and donation options above the fold. What that means is that you see all of these options the moment that the page loads. You don't have to scroll down to see any of those. You'll scroll down to get additional information, but again, like we said, the key objectives are to get signups and donations. So we want those right up at the top. When we're talking about a highlighted donate button, and I'll show you some example sites in a second, but usually in the upper right-hand corner, this is a best practices kind of situation where a lot of campaigns have come and gone. Everybody's done their testing. This shows that people really respond well. You want that donate button highlighted and you want it in that upper right-hand corner. And as far as what your homepage is, you want it to be a place that new visitors are going to come in to learn about you, but you also want to drive repeat visits, right, from people who've already been there. So the way to do that is you keep it fresh. And instead of having to be like, oh my gosh, I have to update my website all the time, NationBuilder is really great at dynamic content centers. So like a blog roll on your homepage, so that all you've got to do is write a new blog post, like we said, is great for your SEO optimization. It also automatically updates your homepage. So just by writing a blog every once in a while, you have made a destination for repeat visitors to come to, which is great, especially when we want those repeat donations to come in as well. Like we're saying about minimizing the number of clicks needed to take action. So again, this is sort of what that above the fold thing is. We don't want people to have to scroll down. We won't want to have to people to, wander through a whole bunch of pages. Want to make it as easy as possible for you to get on the email list and to donate once, twice, 3 times, and more. And then above all is that the site's got to be mobile friendly. Right now, we see, on even some of the more like, conservative campaigns or in areas where people might say like, oh, my base is much older or something like that. Even in those cases, a lot of mobile traffic, at least half. So mobile is really, really key. And again, NationBuilder is really great for that. So here's some of the key pages that you need. And again, the core theme is it's easier than you think. And one of the couple of phrases that we like to use around here is one, to build the plane while you're flying it, which sort of fits in also with done is the new perfect. What this means is that, a good example is like, Windows will roll out an update or they'll come out with a new product and then you'll get update, an update, an update, an update. They don't wait until it's perfect. They get it out there, they get it tested, and they get there. The most important thing is that you get your site up and out. You can add new content later. It's really easy to do. But don't wait. Get that key homepage up first and some of the key pages. So here's really the basics of what you need to get your site launched. So like we were saying, this homepage, that your dynamic and authoritative action center. So that's your image up at the top, the signups, that blog roll. That's really all you need. A bio, a place for people to meet you, to understand what who you are and what you're about. And in many cases, we see candidates who start with like just a couple paragraphs and then they add on to it as they go along. Again, that's the building the plane as you're flying it. Get it up, get it out, let people get to know you and start getting that feedback too, because that really helps to adapt that. The issues. So, if you don't cover this in your bio, and this is also a great thing to have separately, is just even 3 or 4 core planks of your campaign so that so people can understand what you're about. They can start to connect with stuff and start to talk to other people about it. And again, the 2 most critical pieces, like we were saying before, your sign up page for people to come on and become new subscribers, and then the donate page. NationBuilder again makes this so easy with the integrated payment options to have a place for people to come on and make donations to you in your campaign.
Yeah, those really are the key pages that you need to be thinking about. And so just briefly here, I wanted to touch on kind of the NationBuilder specific aspect to those pages. And so when you think about NationBuilder, each of our page types are designed with an action in mind. You are seeing a couple here from this screenshot with our event and petition. And the power of that is that it speaks to your database. And so you can kind of see some terminology and some language here as it pertains to feature sets. But what this really means is you have the ability to create a custom journey. For example, someone signs up on your sign up page, they are then routed to your issues page so they can learn about the issues you care about. You're also able to tag individuals. So if they sign up and they identify that they also care about a specific issue, you can then use that later on in targeting. You have the ability to assign a point person. So if you've got someone on your team that's maybe managing donations, they'll get an email notification when someone signs up or when someone donates. Also here, and we'll talk about this more when I go in depth later on different ways to use the platform, but paths. Think about paths as a ladder of engagement. How do I get someone who's just signed up to be a part of my campaign to donate? That might take 6, 7 steps in between, and you need a digital ladder of engagement to take those folks along that journey with you. You've also got the ability to send out those auto response emails, which are really important. A lot of people have just kind of a baseline expectation today that auto responses will go when they take an action online. That is preset within NationBuilder. Please make sure you go in and just add your own piece of copy to it, whether that's changing the subject line or just adding your signature to the email. But it's a really important way to acknowledge that you are a human and that the action that they just took has been registered by your campaign. Owen touched on kind of the content side of things, and just these are kind of some product specific things. But when you're adding content into NationBuilder, we have what's called a WYSIWYG. That stands for what you see is what you get. We also have an integration with Embedly. So if you've got any really good campaign videos that you want to pop in, all you need to do is just simply put in the link, whether it's YouTube or Vimeo, to where that video is being hosted. There is no code needed there, and it'll just land into your site. And then lastly, with SEO, all of our pages are built for you to have search engine optimization that can be updated on a page-by-page basis, or it can be done within the universal settings of your website. This is going to increase your placement across search engines like Google, and it's a really important way for you to be able to get some of that organic lift that Owen was talking about. Last thing I'll touch on here before I kick it back to Owen is with each of the pages that you take or an end user takes an action on, you have the ability to create what we call a social share prompt. This is a really easy way for your supporters, your volunteers, to share that they are supporting you with every action they take. And why is this powerful? This is powerful because when they take that action, when they share it out with their community, they are given a unique URL. That URL is theirs and theirs only. And what it does is it gives them credit for anyone that they bring in to your campaign. It's a great way for you to give back to your volunteers and your supporters and let them know that the organic recruitment they are doing is really impactful to your campaign. Make sure, though, that you do go in and you adjust these to align with the copy and the communications of your plan, your campaign plan. We have default language in all of our pages, but you can see right there on the screen where it says, I just made a donation, you should join me. Put in the language that you want for your supporters to be sharing out so that you can start to see that across social media where your supporters are sharing on your behalf. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to you, Owen, so we can talk through some of these example sites.
Yeah, absolutely. So perfect. So let's start right here. So this is a campaign that's active right now and just getting launched. And this is a state Senate race in Illinois. And this again is a perfect example of what we were just talking about in terms of getting it up and getting it launched. So here you'll see we've got a sliding carousel right up at the top, image of the candidate with the tagline, sensible solutions, not extreme politics. This links into his quick bio, and you'll see here, actually, before we click on that, oh God, oh yeah, yeah. So that'll show you, just the super quick bio. Yeah, no problem. So here, what we see right here in the upper right-hand corner, you've got your donate button. And then right below the image is just an inline option for quick signups. And this connects to the the sign up page on this site. So anybody can just quickly add their name and email here. And if you scroll down on this page just a little bit, you'll see we've got a quick introduction with the candidate. So if someone just wants to come to this page and land on it, there's a quick intro. That learn more will link into the bio page that we were just taking a look at. Inline options to donate here, right? Another option to donate, super important. And then this candidate also, if you click on any of those options, it will pre-fill that donation amount when it gets into there. Oh, looks like he still needs to set up his payment processor. So, and then just scrolling down here, just a interactive map of where that particular district is. And then as you get to the bottom here, and an inline contact form. Yeah, very easy to just send a note directly to the campaign. And this is actually great because sometimes campaigns don't want to share their email address. Like you get a lot of spam. So this is a great way to let people contact you without risking a lot of exposing your email address if you don't want to. Down here, we got their socials. Very easy way to interact with that. And then at the very bottom, again, another opportunity to get on the email list. So you'll see here, it's really, really focused on signups and donations. When somebody is on your email list, it gives you, as Sorcha was saying, again, there's really no more cost-effective and just even basically effective way of communicating with your supporters than email. So definitely recommend that. If you click over actually on the same one to Core 4, this is at the link up there. Yeah. So when we're talking about the issues that you want, this is an example of what this is. So this particular candidate has four things that he wanted to focus on. So as you scroll down here, just a quick headline about what it is, just some images. It's really quick, easy ways for people to understand what those issues are. So if somebody doesn't necessarily resonate immediately with your bio, or they're sort of like, oh, who is this person? I don't know who they are. They will resonate with these issues because they'll be personally connected to them. So this is a great way to hook people into your mission, get them on your email list. And honestly, once they're there, you're golden. That's really the key.
Owen, we've got a question in the chat from Eva who's asking what template is Jason using and how much of what is shown is a result of the template implementation versus how much of it is custom. Would you mind just speaking to that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a custom template, but it is based off of the Raise template within NationBuilder. So you can get a bunch of this on here, but this is a custom template that we do create for our customers, and it's also something that's been built off of the feedback from what we've seen from campaigns before. So as we've done many different campaigns over the years, we've sort of adjusted to what people are really responding to well, and what we see works and wins, and this is sort of the result of that. And you'll see some of this in a little bit, but we'll be
Nice.
happy to help you out with that and talk a little bit about that later.
Awesome.
You want to pop over to, yeah, Lloyd Smucker here. So this is actually an incumbent congressman who is also running again. And you'll see here again, we've got easy inline option for sign up here, and then a highlighted donate button in the upper right-hand corner. Now, this campaign is integrating a few other things that are sort of outside of NationBuilder. So like this sign up here actually connects into a MailChimp, and you'll see they've got like a whole texting program that they're using with some other stuff. So we are able to integrate all of these things in there. Now you'll see here, this one also has a little bit more because this is an incumbent. So they've got some options there. In line here, we've got also just their key tenants and contact form again, and ways for them to sign up down at the bottom. And again, here, if you click into the issues section, again, see what we're talking about, the meet Lloyd and the issues. Again, really straightforward: budget, inflation, education, reproductive rights, border protection, things like that, agriculture, values, and things like that. This is a great way to get people connected into what you want. Now, again, as you'll see, like I will point out, we are a nonpartisan, so we do run the gamut. We believe in free speech. We believe that being active and engaged in the political process is what makes the country and the world better. So wherever you are, we're happy to help.
That's awesome.
So this last one here, now this is a municipal campaign, and we're just going to stay right here at the top of the page. And this one, what I wanted to show you on this one mostly is that this campaign sort of came and went, and the site has since come down. But I wanted to show you this one because
It might be my internet. My apology.
no worries at all. No worries at all. What's up at the top here, and it'll show up in a second, is actually a video banner. And once it loads, so yeah, maybe I'll show you here. So basically, this image that you're seeing at the top is a video, and what she did is just had, I think it was her son even, with an iPhone. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's a bunch of temporary content on this
Yeah.
one just because the site came down. But what I wanted to show you was the video here up at the top. So it's very easy, very simple to just take a video with with even just an iPhone. And this is just a video of her walking to the front of the frame. So yeah, just wanted to show you that with your NationBuilder site, we can lay a video up at the top of the header. Really, it doesn't have to be professionally done. And people, there it goes. Yeah. So it's a great way that if you don't have a lot of content or something like that, that people can just get to meet you in a video right up at the top of your page. Doesn't have to be the fanciest thing in the world. Just get people to meet you. This is really an opportunity for you to meet and connect with as many people as possible, as quickly as possible.
Awesome. Thanks, Owen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so as we were sort of talking about the kind of things that NationBuilder does and why it's just the best for running a campaign, like don't launch a campaign on anything but NationBuilder, honestly. Like it's just going to make your life difficult. NationBuilder makes it so much easier. So in terms of like the automatic sign up tagging for targeted communications, say you want to get signups from people at a particular event or a particular location or something like that. You can have NationBuilder automatically tag people who are signing up on various different pages. So again, when you're ready to send out your email blast, you're just like, please send it to people with this tag. You don't have to go sifting through emails and signups and things like that. You're all set. The automated filters to keep your list updated automatically. Like I was saying, if you want to be emailing people who have not donated, you can set up an automatic filter for that so that the next time you go to send out that email, you don't have to go say, oh, have some of these people donated since and check them off your list. No, NationBuilder will do it for you automatically. You just have to type your message and hit send. One of the coolest features that I really like about NationBuilder is turf cutting. So when you get a whole group of, a list of signups, and particularly if you get a voter file, because NationBuilder will also provide you in some cases like a free voter file that you can get. You can actually pull up a map of where all the addresses are and say you just want to talk to people who are in a particular neighborhood or make walk sheets. You can actually draw on the map an area, and NationBuilder will segment out those people into a separate list for you. So it makes it really easy. And then donation tracking codes. So I know reporting is a major thing and a hassle in many cases, right? NationBuilder makes it super easy if you need to track, where different donations came from or separate things out. Again, individual donation pages will do automatic tagging, tracking codes, and things like that. So that makes it easy to do. The workflows, when we're talking about onboarding people and you not having to have a conversation individually with every new sign up who comes along, this is where these automatic drip campaigns come in. So say somebody gets on your list, they get an email right away saying, hey, welcome into our campaign. The next day, they get another email from you with some information and some value, and then up to that. In many cases, we recommend and have a format that we provide for our clients, which is like a 5-day campaign that actually tells a real, almost like a cliffhangery story about how you got into the campaign, so that by the time they're done with those 5 days, they're basically your best friend and you haven't had to pick up the phone and spend your time to do that. Oh, and then as we talked about, the free voter file. So yeah, one of the things too that we get from campaigns is that they need to be up and running yesterday all the time, right? Like there's a lot of pressure. And the good thing is that NationBuilder can help you get it up and done. And in many cases, we get it done for people, in a week, 2 weeks. So your built-in sign up and payment processing is right there. It's easy to get done. You can be collecting money right away. With the key content, we get it set up and you're good to go. And like Sorcha was saying, the WYSIWYG, the what you see is what you get editors, it's really built to make it easy for you to move on it. One of the stories I like to tell is that we had a client who's the members of the organization were entirely, I want to say, like women in over 70. And they were admittedly not tech savvy at all. But they were able to use and run with their own NationBuilder platform on their own without any outside help for years, which makes me happy to see. Automatic tagging and filters, again, like we were talking about, you don't want to be spending your time updating email lists. Automatic tagging and filters will do that. And then your blog. This is the easiest way to keep your website fresh. It keeps your homepage fresh when we integrate it there. It adds that new SEO content to it. You don't have to have some major campaign. You just have to write a blog every once in a while. Super easy to do.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Owen. Okay, I am going to take us down kind of just some applications of all of the high-level features that we've talked about throughout this morning. So starting up first with a plan to vote. So some folks might ask us, why would you do a plan to vote? Ultimately here, it's getting your universe of supporters to make their own plans to vote. We know that this increases the likelihood of that individual turning out to the polls by 10%. Making that plan, thinking through the specifics of when or how or where or who are they going to vote with, is making a psychological commitment and in turn, making them more likely to actually go and vote. It also gives you, the campaign, the opportunity to collect information of how and when they will vote so that you can then share that with them as a reminder in follow-up and find out if they did actually vote in a self-prescribed way. Lastly here, it gives you an opportunity to acquire new supporters by getting existing supporters to share their voting plans, like we just saw with the social share prompt, with their friends and families. So here what we're thinking about is harnessing language such as you need to be thinking about your plan to vote, right? Encouraging your supporters to get out there and recruit on your behalf. This is really important, right? When you are looking at your win number, right? So what the number is that you need to win the election in most places, if you're not kind of in a RCV. state or electoral district, you are looking at 50+1. And so if you know your win number and you understand what it is, number of votes that you need, you're going to identify the areas in which you need to increase that voter turnout. And this is a really great way for you to get your supporters to do that on your behalf. So what does that look like in a NationBuilder context? We've talked about the different page types that you can use. And here on the left-hand side, now I'll show you this live in a second as well, you're seeing a voting plan page. And what we've done here is we've just customized a sign-up page. There is a full how-to guide and documentation that I'll share in our follow-up on how you can do this in the template, especially for custom fields. But most of this is native to the sign-up page, so within the control panel itself. So here you're seeing first name, last name, email, mobile. And then you're getting into making that voting plan. So the first question we're asking is, how do you actually plan to vote this year? Maybe this individual is going to vote early. They're going to vote by mail. Maybe they're going to vote on election day. Where are you going to submit your vote, right? So what is your polling location is the other way to ask this question. And you'll notice here that we've also linked out for them, if they don't know what their polling location is, to be able to find it, right? That's going to bring them to their Secretary of State site or the specific electoral district that they're voting in. They can pop in their address and that will render their polling location. And then here we've got some of those more kind of like psychological questions. How do you plan to travel to your voting place? Who are you going to vote with? This again is all about getting those people to think through the premise of, okay, it's election day. At the end of the day, we know that people are busy. They've got their own lives. They really aren't sitting every day thinking about when your election is and if they're going to go out and vote. So you need to make it really easy for those individuals to have a plan, to put it in their calendar if they're calendar people, and make sure that they know when the election is happening and who and how they're going to vote. The last thing you're going to see right here is letting your supporters identify if they do actually need additional support. So things like getting a ride to the polling location, if they're unsure how to register to vote, if they are still unsure of where to vote, this will give you data and information so that your volunteers and your campaign staff can actually do outreach to these individuals to make sure that they have what they need to go to the polls. So now if I'm thinking through kind of this whole strategy, we are going to want to create an email automation for these voters to let them know about their plan to vote. And so in this example, what I did was I created a very short email series that is just 2 emails. This is triggered by them taking the action on the page I just showed you. It's going to send 1 email immediately, right? That's that auto response. And that's going to give them the voting plan information that they've just entered. So what we're doing is we're just reflecting back to the end user, to that supporter, what they entered on the page. They've got that email. And then you follow up 2 days later in the email automation with just an encouragement for them to share out in the world. This is a very basic version of this. You could obviously add in 4 or 5 or 6 different emails, depending on the strategy you want to take. And we'll talk more in a bit about different types of automations that you can include. And so I'm going to go live into this site right now so you can see what this looks like within the front-facing site. This is a public theme. So for any of you out there that need a public theme, obviously this is an example of one. And then you're able to work with Owen and his team if you do want to have some customization. So first off, I'm being asked very basic information. So I am going to go in here and I am going to sign up. Awesome. Okay, so I've put in my basic information here on the left-hand side. I'm getting some content and some understanding of what this voting plan is going to do for me. Here I have the option of voting early, voting by mail, and vote on election day. This is a custom field that we have created within this nation, and we're just rendering it on the sign-up page. Like I said, there is specific documentation on how to do that, and it's genuinely not super complicated. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to vote on election day, and I do know where my polling location is, but if I wanted to, I could just go here, and it will give me the ability to go in and identify where my polling location is. But I know where it is. I'm going to say it is in St. John's. And I am going to walk because I'm just down the street and I am going to vote with my husband. I don't need any of these, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to, first off, I'm going to accept cookie consent, and then I'm going to sign up. So now I'm being prompted here to tell all of my friends and family that I've made my plan to vote, and I can share it out on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, or on email, right? These will create specific links again, so I'll get credit for when folks sign up from that link. And then lastly, you're seeing that action chain that we talked about with the pages. And so I'm being landed on a page here to tell me all about voting resources. First thing I get is a thank you for submitting my plan. It's letting me know that I've been sent an email with my full plan. And then here we've got some important information. So again, if I want to find out where I need to vote, if I need to register, if there's early voting information, I've got the key dates here. And then again, another prompt to say, hey, ask your friends and family, make sure that they're voting too, as well as, again, these share prompts. So again, sharing it on WhatsApp, any of the social media, and sharing by email. And this is that your recruiter ID. So this is that unique URL, the component that comes with it that is unique to me. And so if Owen had done this action, he would have a different URL there that would be unique to him. It's a really important and exciting way to get that organic recruitment into your nation. So I am going to jump back over here and just show you what that looks like now in the control panel. So I'm going to navigate over into my people database. And in here, you are going to see the record that just filled out the vote plan page. My apologies. My Wi-Fi is on a struggle bus, is how I would like to describe it. Okay. Well, we'll let that load. There we are. Okay, so here we can see the individual record that I created. So Dana has come in, she's landed into the nation. You can see that she has a tag for the voting plan that she's signed up with. She's also landed on that path, right? That's that ladder of engagement that I was talking about earlier. So here we can see that she is on the step of having completed her voting path. Now your campaign staff and your volunteers have the ability to take Dana on the rest of that journey that they've called to remind to request a mail-in ballot if that's what she identified, right? Taking them through. She's called to identify the voting day morning. She's confirmed that she's voted, right? There's a full journey that goes into that vote process. And this really breaks it down step by step and allows you to manage your supporters in a really granular way. The other thing that happened here was that Josh was assigned as Dana's point person. This now means that Josh has just received an email notification letting him know that Dana has confirmed her voting plan for election day, and he can then engage with her how he sees fit or how the campaign needs him to. So that is an example of how you would create the vote plan using NationBuilder. Last one I want to show you is just another one from the 2023 election in Manitoba, one of our customers. Obviously not going to interact with this because this is on their site, but this is just a really simple way to take your folks on a journey of building your plan. So you can see here there's some very basic information, and this then leads you through a journey that's a little bit more staggered out based on the information they need as a union. But it's another example of how you can show up to get your supporters ready to vote with you. Okay, I am going to jump us over into the NationBuilder communication suite. And so, like I said at the top, NationBuilder is an integrated platform, but a part of that is our communication suite. And so there's some core things that you can do within the NationBuilder platform that's really relevant to your campaign. Up first, and a thing that we've been talking about quite a lot this morning, is the email and workflow functionality. And I'll take you through a couple more so you've got some ideas there. We then have our texting functionality, as well as action button. And so I'm going to kind of dive in a little bit deeper on each of these areas at the moment. If I can find my mouse, there we go. All right. So up first here is another layer of that vote plan. And so this is the example of engaging with individuals who have filled out your plan to vote, but then taking it a step further and taking them on a journey to remember to vote. So you are able to identify the deadlines for your campaign. For example, you may have your election on November 6th, and you know that voter registration has to be done by October 10th. So you can then back into anyone who said that they're not registered to vote, so that they are getting email reminders aligned with the deadline that is tied to your campaign. It's completely customizable and a really important way if you are identifying folks who haven't registered to vote, that you're taking them on a journey that's bespoke to your voter registration deadline in your state. Again, this is all within the platform. There's nothing custom to this. This is just knowing that information within your people database and then reflecting it back in the email communications with them. The other piece of this is allowing your supporters to self-confirm that they have voted. This is a really easy way for you to get information so that you're not kind of wasting the time of your volunteers on election day or during the early voting period. You can just create a basic sign-up page that allows people to self-identify that they have voted on election day, and then you can remove them from the email automation. You can remove them from your audiences while you're doing that really precious election day and early voting outreach. And then lastly here is running a phone banking process that syncs in real time with that digital activity. So as your volunteers are calling to see if people have gotten out to the polls, they're using all of that information that has taken place in the plan to vote page, as well as anyone who's self-identified. So we're removing folks from the phone bank audience at the same time. So now coming out of kind of GOTV and plan to vote engagement, and this is a volunteer activation. So on the right-hand side, you're seeing the specific steps that someone would go through within a workflow. The benefits of this, right, when you're thinking about a volunteer activation, is to be able to onboard your new volunteers. You're going to also be able to educate them on any of the activities that you perform as a campaign. And if there are any specific guidelines that you need to let them know about, maybe you are having a volunteer event in a local library and there's specific times that they can arrive, right? The other piece here is being able to increase their likelihood to sign up for a shift. Like I said earlier, people are busy, they have lives outside of the campaigns. And so you really want to make it as easy as possible, and creating a email automation to take them through a volunteer activation journey is a really great way to do that. The source of this automation would be your volunteer page. So anyone who signed up on your volunteer page, which we saw on the Lloyd Smucker for Congress campaign that Owen had created, that volunteer page you could use. And then you would have a conversion rate for this specific workflow. What I mean by that is how many people actually took the action you wanted them to. And we would tie this to an event RSVP, because we are looking, you can see in that last email, to sign up for a shift, a volunteer shift. And we're going to do that through our event pages. And so they will convert out of the automation, i.e. no longer receiving emails on that specific automation, as well as you having that conversion data for yourself in your campaign. The next one is around an event. We host many events as campaigners and field folks here on the call today. And this is a great way for you to kind of set and forget. This gives you the ability to get folks excited about the event that's coming up so that they don't forget that they have RSVP'd. Maybe you didn't have any ticket prices, for example, or you want them to volunteer. And so this takes them through that full journey. Here, like I said, benefits is keeping folks reminded about the event, ideally increasing your turnout, giving them some volunteer asks, and letting them know that there are maybe some secret things. Maybe you have a guest speaker that's just been announced and you want to do it 2 days before, right? This gives people that feeling of community and commitment to your campaign when you're regularly communicating with them and doing it personally. Here, your source would be an event page specifically, and then your conversion would be the volunteer on the sign up page, right? Again, because we're asking them, the final ask is to help the event run smoothly and to volunteer with the campaign. Okay. Any questions? I see. Okay, we'll get to that one in a sec, but if you have any questions, please jump in. All right. So moving into the other areas of our communication suite. So our integrated communications platform helps you truthfully connect the dots. So some of the other pieces of that platform are texting. Within NationBuilder, you have the ability to do text blasts. This is one-to-many, so you're able to send as the candidate, as the communications director, the fundraising director, to your audience. You're also able to send one-to-one text messages. You are able to communicate with your supporters on a one-to-one basis within the control panel itself. And then text keywords. Text keywords are some of my favorite ways for you to interact with folks, especially if you're doing any type of live event. It is so simple to just have a text keyword, text, apples, and you have signed up and you've joined the community, for example. Obviously, please use a better word than apples. But this is where you're able to really get folks who are maybe walking, they see your flyer, things like that. It's a great way to engage folks out there when you're on the field. So when should you text? Texting is not something that you should be doing every single day. It should be strategic. What we do not want to do is increase fatigue with your voters. And so use it strategically. Think about timely alerts, right? These are just kind of full examples, but is there an urgent action required? Are you coming up to an FEC filing deadline if you're running in the federal elections? Are you coming up on any type of financial filing deadline? Is there an event specifically, right? So the in-person events is a big one. Texting, inviting them directly through a text, sending reminders, texting the morning of. The other way that I think this is a really important tool to think about, and again, strategically in nature, is the folks in your database that are no longer emailable. Right? Maybe you had an email for them 3 years ago, but they've since changed jobs, or they've opted out of receiving your emails because they've just got an overflow of email communication. These folks are really good opportunities if you do have a phone number for them, of having a different relationship and on ultimately meeting people where they're at, right? You're going to be texting them, and we know, and we'll talk about this in a second, that texting is kind of getting to that place. It has not taken over email yet, but I do see it in the next kind of 4 years. It wouldn't surprise me if there was more text being sent than there were email in campaigns. So some best practices. I think an important note here to ground in is 80% of people check their text notifications within 5 minutes of receiving a text, right? I think just kind of think about your own way in which you use your phone. You are checking it, right? You are, because it's your family, it's your friends that tend to be communicating with you. And so it's a really powerful way to get in front of folks, but that is why it is really important to send with intention, keep it short and sweet, keep your list dynamic, and get into the habit of texting. So I'll talk you through these kind of best practices here. Texting can be costly. It is on a per text send. It varies on the different price plans that you have with NationBuilder, as to the number of texts that you have included in your software costs and the additional costs on that. And so you really want to make sure that you are sending good messages. They are punchy. It is usually a direct call to action. I very rarely see a text that is, kind of an overview of issues. There needs to be a call to action in your text. Short and sweet. Character counts are important. They are truly important. No one wants to receive a big paragraph text, right? Short and sweet, and utilize link shorteners. We have that available for you in the NationBuilder product. If you do want to route them to your website or to a different link, make sure you are shortening that link so that it is just a nice and punchy link for that individual to interact with. Keeping that list dynamic, right? If people are not responding or clicking to your text messages, take them out. The same way when you think about email health, your text program and your text strategy also needs to have that included. Take folks out of the list and do specific drives just for texting, right? When you are thinking about, okay, I want to make sure that people are signing up to my email list. We saw on the example that Owen shared with Lloyd's, they also had a mobile number in that first above the fold form. Is that important to you? Is that more important than email? So be thinking about that when you're thinking about your acquisition strategy. And then when you're thinking about getting into the habit or starting or kicking off your texting program, you want to do kind of 1 to 2 texts per month with a very meaningful call to action, and then 1 to 2 texts per month with timely information. So think voter registration deadlines, filing deadlines, fundraising efforts, event type things, like really clear and driven communication as it pertains to why and when you are texting people. Okay. Action button plus NationBuilder. So there are a myriad of different ways that you can use action button as it pertains to your campaign. But this is a really kind of simple example that I just want to walk folks through so that you can kind of get a sense for the ways in which you could use it. So up first is being able to add action button to your NationBuilder website. You can do that simply within the WYSIWYG. You just drop in the ID of your action button, or you can just share the action button straight onto social media. You are then able to track that data using the tag that was created for that record by them taking the action. And then you can enroll them into a welcome series and encourage them to become members of your campaign, supporters, volunteers, and donors, right? This is just another funnel for you to be highly intentional about how you are communicating with people. So what does that look like here? Email and text from NationBuilder with a call to action. Click on this button to write to an elected official if that's a part of your campaign strategy. You could also have an opinion button in here where you are asking them to give you free form information. That's then going to take them to an action button where they're going to engage and they will hopefully do that call to action. We're then going to enroll them into a workflow, right? Though, like the ones you just saw. And then it's onto the follow-up email number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that cycle could continue. To Owen's point earlier, really making this easy. It's kind of like, all right, I've set this up and I'm not thinking about it again because I have other things I need to do. That is the whole intent here with NationBuilder, in particular with our website and communication structure, is to kind of set and forget. It's there, it's happening in the background, and you are out there on the ground knocking doors, doing the things that you need to do to win your campaign. Okay, I am going to flip it back over to Owen so he can talk through how Disruptive Strategies Group can be a part of your campaign team. And just flagging, Owen, that Eva did have a question on the cost of the customization for, I want to say it was the Illinois website as well, if you can share that or share a range.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you, we have a complete website development package that incorporates a number of meetings. So basically we start with a kickoff meeting to talk about your goals and objectives. We'll get to you like a design template presentation, up to 3 rounds of revisions. And what we do is when we do these presentations, we do them on a meeting like this, on a video call like this. So in some cases, if it's just you, or maybe you've got your whole campaign team or some other people involved, this is a great way to work with that. So you can get everybody involved that you want. We like to make it just a really easy, simple process that you can get your feedback in, see it as it's moving along, make sure everything's moving in the direction that you want. This also includes, we'll set up your email template so that once your website is done, you have a template that matches your theme, and all you have to do is write your message and hit send. We'll help you with your domain setup. We'll help you get your analytics connected to it, because Google Analytics and your tracking and things like that are all very, very important. So we have that whole comprehensive program. We also will do training with you. So we'll do like a live recorded screen share training session with you and your team. So it's a great opportunity not only to answer any questions that you might have at that time and how to specifically use the system for your needs. And that's actually important because NationBuilder does a whole lot of different things, and not every campaign needs all of these different things. So what we will do is actually give you customized training on how to use it specifically for your workflows for your campaign. But this also gives you a video to train new staff members and team members. So you don't have to sit down and walk anybody through how to use it. You just show them this video and they're all set. Now, we do also offer service packages for, website edits and support. One of the things that a lot of our clients come to us and say is that they had a website and their web developer disappeared on them, or they've got a website that they can't edit on their own. I know there are a lot of web developers out there who want to basically addict you to them, right? Like they make a site that you can't touch, you can't edit, you can't do anything without having to shell out money, calling them whatever. We want to make sure that you are able to run with it on your own if you want to. Our whole objective is to give you the power and the tools that you need to spread your mission. So if you want to run with it on your own, we will set it up to do that. But also we understand that you may not want to do that all on your own. So we are also here to help you. So we have a variety of different packages for that. So, and then of course, one of the other benefits that we do offer, we are certified NationBuilder Alliance partners, which means that for certain new NationBuilder accounts who come to us for the site development, we're able to offer you special arrangements on your pricing and certain complimentary terms included with your website development. So depending on what your needs are, give us a shout. So some of these service packages start as low as $500, and then the customizations can, go up from like, $2,000 to $3,000. So normally those are around like $7,500 for someone to build that out for you. But for the people who are here on this webinar here, we do have very special pricing that will cut that down, 50% or higher. So definitely give us a shot, and we'd love to talk about your specific needs, save you some money, and get you up and running really fast. We want to save you money, and we want to get you up fast and have something that you can work with on your own if you want to.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, go for it, Owen, please.
I was just saying, so yeah, this QR code here will take you to our website, disruptivesg.com, Disruptive Strategies Group, disruptivesg.com, where you can schedule a complimentary, no commitment consultation. So this is a great way to just have a conversation about what your needs are. We'll talk about what we can do for you. We'll get you a detailed proposal based on your conversation and what you need, and then we'll go from there. Again, it's totally free and there's no commitment required. So just give us a shout. We'd love to have a conversation with you and just talk about how we might be able to help you get your site up and running, get you communicating with your supporters, and help you win your campaign.